Breaking news, we're learning that President Trump has now reviewed attack plans for Iran. For now, though, he is holding off to see if Iran steps away from its nuclear program. A White House official telling CNN, quote, all options remain on the table. It comes as Israel is waiting to see whether Trump will attack Iran with one of America's most powerful weapons, a 30,000-pound bunker-busting bomb. And Brian Todd is out front with a special report. More on this weapon that has actually never been used in combat.
It's a sophisticated, frightening piece of weaponry designed to hit targets like some of Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities deep underground.
They're buried so deep, and no other bomb would be able to certainly destroy them.
The GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator, also known as the Bunker Buster, the largest non-nuclear bomb in the U.S. military's arsenal. Designed, the Air Force says, to reach and destroy weapons of mass destruction in well-protected facilities. The Bunker Buster is roughly 20 feet long, weighs 30,000 pounds, with 6,000 pounds of high explosives. The Israelis don't have them, nor the means to deliver them. Only the U.S. does, and there is no public record that they've ever been used in combat.
The United States has never encountered a target that required a bomb of this size. We have other very, very large bombs, such as the Moab, which is the mother of all bombs, as they say.
That mother of all bombs, weighing more than 21,000 pounds, was dropped by U.S. forces on ISIS targets in Afghanistan in 2017. But the Bunker Buster, even heavier. Experts say the Bunker Buster has a thick, hard shell designed to withstand the impacts of the ground and plunge to the depths it needs to reach, with explosives in a fuse that also needs to be robust enough to penetrate the ground. The Bunker Buster doesn't have the biggest blast area, experts say, because it's designed to burrow into the ground before exploding. The only plane that can carry the Bunker Buster, the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber, flown by a two-pilot crew, capable of flying about 6,000 nautical miles without refueling and eluding an enemy's most sophisticated defenses. The likely target of the Bunker Buster, if the U.S. were to get involved in this conflict, Fordo, an Iranian nuclear enrichment site buried deep under a mountain beneath possibly 300 feet of rock. A key question, could the Bunker Buster really damage Fordo significantly? Experts say the Bunker Buster can penetrate about 200 feet into the ground, maybe more. But if the key targets at Fordo are about 300 feet under?
One bomb isn't going to penetrate that. You're going to have multiple hits at the same spot. Drop a bomb, another B-2 comes in, drops another bomb in the crater of the first.
Another key question is, would a strike on the Fordo nuclear facility cause a large radiation leak? Three experts who spoke to CNN say a radiation leak would likely be limited to the immediate area, and a strike would likely not pose the same kind of catastrophic consequences that bombing a nuclear reactor would. Aaron?
All right, Brian, thank you very much. I want to go to retired Colonel Mark Cancian. He oversaw the U.S.'s development acquisition of these bunker buster bombs. So, Colonel, you know about these bombs more than anybody, extensive knowledge of this bunker buster bomb, the one that could be used here, the GBU-57. I know you say Fordo was a specific reason that this bomb was developed, right? It's that this target has been out there. What would a strike with this bomb on Fordo look like?
It would be dropped by a B-2, as we've heard. It would happen at night, because that's when the B-2s fly. They would drop it from a high altitude. It's a bomb, so it drops. It's not a missile. And it would strike the mountain in which the Fordo facility is located. And because of its design, it would go through hundreds of feet of material, maybe not quite far enough, but it will go a great ways. It also has a large amount of explosives. The idea is that will penetrate, it will explode, and that will cause either the collapse of the cavern or an explosion inside the actual facility.
And so when we hear that, 300 feet, and then Seth Jones was saying earlier that there's been talk that some facilities could be half a mile deep, but that'd be, more like 2,500 feet. I mean, do you have any certainty as to whether this bomb would work, or is that essentially going to be just a who knows if they do it?
Well, there's no certainty, but what is almost certain is that the United States will use several of them. As we heard, they might drop several in the same spot. The Israelis did that in Beirut to get the Hezbollah leader Nasrallah, And the United States would probably do the same, drop it either in the same spot or on several spots looking for a weak point. There's no guarantee they would find one, but there's a high likelihood that they would badly damage the facility.
So I know that these bombers, these specific bombers, could take off from a few places, and the closest is the military base on Diego Garcia that the U.S. and UK share. But you're still talking possibly about 6 hours to get to Fordo. So is it possible the bombs are in the air and no one knows? And is the B-2 truly at this point something that people would not know was coming?
Well, the B-2 have designed to be stealthy. That's low observable to radar and to the naked eye and to a variety of other means. So it's designed to sneak in and not be seen. And it's been quite successful at that. They could be in the air. It's unlikely at this point because night is ending at 3 a.m. in the morning in Tehran, and the bombers would have to strike and then get out of Iranian airspace. If there were a strike, my guess would be tomorrow night. So we'll watch for that.
Right. Well, interesting when you say, I think you just said something very important, 3 a.m., right? That even the hint of dawn is a light that bomber doesn't want to have. So when you talk about night, it is the dark of night. Out front now, Israel's ambassador to the United Nations, Danny Danon. And Ambassador Danon, you heard Trump, and he's also now saying he's open to meeting with the Iranians again. So is that something you could support if that's the direction this goes?
Evan, I can tell you about our actions, what we have achieved in the last 5 days, the way we push back Iran's nuclear program, and what we are doing as we speak. Regarding the U.S., it's a question for the U.S. president and his administration. You know, we tend to believe the Iranians. When they say they want to destroy us, we take that word for it. When they say they want to send rockets, you know, we take it for seriously. And I think when you look at what they are doing, you know, chanting death to America, trying to assassinate President Trump twice, killing American soldiers all over the Middle East, it's serious. But it's for the U.S. to decide what they want to do and how they want to do.
So I'm curious, though, Ambassador, if we've seen a dramatic decline in the number of missiles Iran is launching at Israel. Israel, you have all said that you control the Iranian skies. You've destroyed 40% of their missile launchers and control their skies. I guess I'm wondering, do you need the United States, right? We've been talking to generals. They're saying, okay, Israel could fly over Fordo again and again and again. If you control the skies, you're not going to get shot down. You have other options as well, ground forces, things you could use. Do you feel that Israel needs the United States or must have the United States to fully eliminate Iran's nuclear program or not as of tonight?
You know, first of all, we were a small country, you know, very committed, very determined. When you look at the size of Israel compared to Iran, it's like comparing Cuba to the United States of America. You know, a tiny country, and Iran is 80 times bigger than Israel. Population-wise, you know, we have 9 million, they have 90 million people over there. So we have limited capabilities, but we have good technology. I'm sure that, you know, it will be much longer for us to make sure that Iran cannot threaten the world anymore. It will be much faster if other countries will intervene. But we don't tell those countries, you know, what to do. But they should realize, you know, the threat of Iran is not only to Israel. Those ballistic missiles that are still flying into Israel can already reach Europe today. And give them some time, Erin, they can reach the eastern shore of the U.S.
So let me ask you, though, because I think, you know, I mean, there's so many fundamental questions here to discuss. But one of them, Ambassador, as you know, is that Prime Minister Netanyahu, obviously for many years, has said that Iran is on the precipice of a nuclear weapon. And it has not turned out to be true simply because they didn't get one at those times. Now he has said that it was weeks away. I ask you about this because United States intelligence, we have reporting, has concluded, and we heard this from Tulsi Gabbard, that Iran was not actively pursuing a nuclear weapon at this time. And in fact, had they chosen to do so, which intelligence said that they had not, they would have been 3 years away for delivering one. But Israel launched this attack essentially saying Iran was days away. So somebody's just either really, really wrong or not telling the truth. Is it U.S. intelligence that's doing that?
Well, let's analyze it. First, you know, listen to the word of the Ayatollahs. They speak about the destruction of Israel. They have a plan to do that, and they spend billions of dollars every year to make it happen. Second, look at the uranium level. That's not Israel intelligence. The IAEA said multiple times that they have enough enriched uranium to produce many bombs, not one. So why do they need uranium in that level? If they want to build a reactor, they don't need so much uranium and not enriched uranium in this level. And third, the ballistic missiles and the weaponization system. So, people expect us to wait, but until when? Until they actually launch the missile into Israel, and then what? So we got the information that they are moving fast. They are ignoring the international community. The IAEA spoke about the inspectors that they cannot go there, and for years they lied. So we cannot wait. Maybe other countries felt they can wait longer, but maybe they don't feel threatened by Iran like we will. But after October 7th, we don't take any chances. And once we know that Iran had an extermination plan against Israel, we don't take chances.